Good morning, this is Jamie Magrich. Welcome to Jamie's Craft Table. Today I'm doing a 3-card video. It started out as just 1 card and then I created 3 cards. So let's get started. It's not a simple stamping through avid crafting, it's just using the bits and pieces to make more than 1 card. So let me get started and I'll show you what we're going to use. We've got 6 ink colors: Granny Apple Green, Real Red, Pumpkin Pie, Daffodil Delight, Night of Navy, Gorgeous Grape. They're all brights. I was in a little bit of a slump, and I find if I go to making rainbow type cards, that helps me to get out of it. So that's what I did. You need a chamois of some sort or some way to clean your stamps. I used Tasteful Textile in a couple of them. I'm using All Squared Away. I'm bringing in a sentiment from Oval Occasions, Hugs and Kisses. I used Iconic dies. I use these 2 here, the flowers, and then this I just used for the leaves, but that one. And then you could use a hole punch, but I use this die here. I think it's Tie-ins and Trimmings. Oh, I don't have the name of it anymore. But anyway, it just cuts these little tiny holes. And I use this die here to cut a whole bunch of holes. You could use a hole punch, that would work fine as well. Going to need some sort of scoring tool, whether it's a ruler and a stylus or a ruler and a butter knife, whatever. But I'm going to just bring in this one because it fits in the screen. Okay, so this is the first card. Let's see, I created a little rainbow of flowers. Okay. And I have a 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece of white and a 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 scored and folded at 4 1/4 for my card base. I brought in some little sequins. They were I'm not sure if they're current or not. They were just in my stash. And then the little black centers are those little black circles that are punched out in the tiny hole punch or whatever. Okay, so let's get started. Let's move some things out of the way. Okay, let's bring this piece in first. Oh, I need a skirt. That's where my other piece went. I also need a 1/4 sheet of white to stamp on. So let's do this part first so I can get this out of the way. Basically what I did, I came in, I think it's a 1/4 inch. Let's see, yeah. Oh, there's my other piece. 1/4 inch and 3/8 of an inch, all the way on all 4 sides. This created just a little bit of a detail, so it wasn't just the flowers. And I wasn't bringing in anything else fancy. Okay, so you can use either this embossed side or this side. I tend to like this side better, so there's that piece. Okay, I need a piece of garden green to cut out these flowers with that leaf, or the leaves with the leaf die, and I've already done that. Just for the sake of time. So let's bring in a couple of those. I think you only need one. I don't remember, so okay. So let's move this out of the way. We're done with it for now. Let's move these out of the way so I don't lose them. Put the sequins up there too. And on this piece, we are going to do some stamping. Okay, we're going to bring in this dotted one first, in real red. Ink that up. Make sure it's inked well. I'm going to stamp it in on here. You need to get 6 of these, so I just do it up in one corner. Okay, this one's going to need washed. I got a new chamois. Set that aside for a minute. Okay, now let's bring in this one here. I'm going to do the orange. I'm done with the red ink, so you can put that away. This is pumpkin pie. Go ahead and stamp that. And again, bring in our thing to wash it. This one's nice and inked well. Hate using it on my brand new chamois, but it has to get dirty sometime, right? Okay, then this one here is going to get stamped green. It's a granny apple. This one was hard for me to get inked. My granny apple might need re-inked, I'm not sure. Okay. Again, let's wash it just so we get in the habit of making sure we do it. Bring in this swirly one here. That one's going to be yellow. Doesn't matter what color you use for what. You can use any patterns you want. This just happened to be the ones I used. Okay, stamp this one. Oh, that's pretty. Clean it off. Alright, now I need blue and purple. So let's bring this polka dot one back in. We'll do Night of Navy. This swirly one, or wavy one, with the gorgeous grape. Okay, done with all the inks. Let's wash these two up. These out of the way so I have them. Bring in my sentiment. Okay. So I'm also going to need Memento Tuxedo black ink. And we're going to bring in our embossing machine. Die cut and emboss machine. Mine is the old Big Shot. I haven't got the new one yet. Alright, and we're going to take this and we're going to take those flowers, and this has some things that need poked out of it. I didn't do from last time. Okay, so we're going to put it on the bottom, on the edge like this, on one corner. Doesn't matter which way, whichever way you want to do it. I'm going to put another plate on top. We're going to run it through, and we're going to do that on every single one of those squares. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And we need all these, put these flowers aside. I'm going to bring in a little container to put them in so I don't lose them. Okay, and I will be right back. I'm going to go ahead and do that on all 6 colors. Okay, I'm back. I got them all cut out. Okay, so for this card, we're going to use the largest of each one of those flowers. So let's take out the largest of each one of them. There's red, yellow, there's the green. Okay. And we're bringing this piece here, our sentiment, and Memento Tuxedo black ink. Ink that up. I'm going to stamp that down here in this corner. It's above where we've done the embossing. Perfect. And we're going to lay out these flowers how we want them to be. We're going to bring in one of those branches I previously cut out with garden green. I'm going to bring in my snips. I'm going to snip off these little bits of branches. Snip off that one. Oops. It's going to go down here. Let's do this one here. Go under here. This little teeny one at the bottom. Go over here. This one here. Oops. So I'm using all the leaves except that one tiny one there. This one will go here. Okay, so now I've got to decide. I want a few of these to be popped up. A few of them aren't going to be. So let's do oops, it's sticking out too far. Let's trim this a little bit more. Okay, so let's glue down the orange one. And I'm just going to use my Tombow Mono multi-glue. You don't need a lot of glue, just a couple little dots on the back. Let's glue down the yellow one. Okay. Purple one's going to get glued down flat too, or also. I'm going to go ahead and stick that underneath, oops, onto one of those spots of glue there. Go ahead and stick that down. Okay, these other three are going to get dimensionals. I don't remember if it needs a big one or a small one. Let's go ahead and bring in the small ones. And I went ahead and stuck it right over that leaf so the leaf is adhered to, or also. This one's trickier. I think this leaf needs to be glued separate. Just a little bit of glue on the back of it. Tuck that in there. The blue one here. This one gets glued there. And then this one. It's glued down there. Okay, now I liked it like that, except the sticky from the dimensionals showed through the holes. I didn't like that. So then I came in with these sequins. They have adhesive on the back of them. So I put in a sequin in the center of each flower. And I like that, but something was missing. So I came in with these little tiny hole punches. I'm going to bring in my take your pick tool. And I put one little dot of glue in the center of each one of these sequins. It doesn't have to be in the center, that's where I happen to get them. And then I put one of these little dots in the center of each one of them. So if it slides off from the center, that's fine. It doesn't take away from it at all. Okay, then this gets adhered to the front of our card. There's about 1/8 of an inch border because it's a 1/4 inch smaller than the front of the card. we go. There's a card we just made together. Here's one I did previous. That's the first card. Okay. Now the second card, I decided I wanted to use up the scraps. These, they were pretty. Why waste them? So this is the card I came up with. Okay. So I have the scraps. I'm going to cut those out. I have, this is just like a 3/8 inch strip of white to stamp the sentiment on, and then a 1/2 inch strip of black to mat behind that. This is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, and I've run it through the textile embossing folder. And then I have my card base, 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored and folded at 4 1/4. Let's go ahead and mount this to the card. There's just going to be a 1/16 of an inch border. It's just an 1/8 of an inch smaller. Okay. And we're going to bring in a trimmer. We're going to cut around these. You could use your scissors. It actually might be easier. Just come in with your scissors. And you're going to cut out these squares. Let's just use the scissors. I just left a little tiny bit of white around each one. Doesn't have to be perfect. Obviously we get a straighter edge with the trimmer. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's a scrap card. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut these out, and I will be right back. Okay, I've got these all cut out. Now let's go ahead and stamp our sentiment on that little tiny strip like we did on the first one. Perfect. Came out really nice this time. Okay, go ahead and mount that to the black piece. Oh, I think I just smeared it. Well, okay. Now these are going to get dimensionals on the back of them. Let's turn all of them over. We're not going to take the backs off yet, but go ahead and put dimensionals on the back of each of them. So I put the large dimensionals where I could. And these little sections, I put a small dimensional where there was a bigger spot. Just make sure they don't show through the window, because you don't want them to show on the other side. I'm having an avalanche. Now let's bring them in. This one's going to go down here. I just arranged them, played with them until I got them all. The only straight one was the green one. It's just going to be a little bit different because the orientation is different. It's alright. Or this orange one was a little bit straight too. Okay, once you get them where you want them, go ahead and glue them down. Take those backs off. You can have them as cattywampus as you want, but don't let them hang off the edge of the card. I need to put a garbage can on this side of my desk so I don't have to constantly reach over the camera to discard things. This one goes here, like that. This one goes over here. Off my finger, please. Don't stick yet. Okay. There's no right or wrong, just whatever is pleasing to your eyes. I think I'm going to have this one be over the top this time. One more. Okay, now I came in with the matte black dots for the centers for this one. Use my take your pick tool. Put a large dot in the center of all the large flowers. And a small dot in the center of all the small ones. I almost forgot the sentiment. I need small dimensionals for that. Okay, now for the sentiment. Oh, it slid a little. See if I can fix it. We need some dimensionals. Oh, the big ones I think will work. On this side, so we're just going to put a dimensional there. Maybe one here closer. A little bit of glue on this end. And the sentiment's going to go down here. There we go, there's that card. Okay. Now card number 3. Uses all the rest of the little flowers. This is not my favorite card, but I like it. Okay, so I have my same strip, 3/8 and 1/2 inch. This is 3 3/4 by 5. It's run through that embossing folder, and my black layer is 4 by 5 1/4 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these two together. Okay, now I'm going to bring in those other flowers. I'm going to kind of put them in a rainbow order, however you want to do your rainbow. In this instance, put the red sort of in the middle. So I did purple, and I did the blue, this is orange, the green goes over here, there's my blue. This time, instead of a straight line, I kind of did a swag. Okay, then I brought in some of those leaves again. Did the same sort of thing I did last time. Tuck some in there. I even use these little tiny ones this time. Get them off my finger. Okay, I need a couple more. Okay, the sentiment's going to go this time on this side. Okay, so basically I'm going to go ahead and glue them all down, and then I will be right back. Okay, I've got those all glued down. Now let's put dimensionals on the back of this. I'm going to use up these edges. Go ahead and center that on the front of the card, making sure it's right side up. Okay, let's go ahead and stamp our sentiment. This one's going to need to be cut to length, but that's alright. Okay, bring in our snips, decide how big do I want it to be. Do I want it to be just that short, or do I want it to be longer? Maybe. I did do one change. I did add these 3 up on dimensionals. I didn't on this one. I think I really want that a little bit longer. Let's see if I have a black strip. Maybe I'll go all the way across the front of the card. Because let's cut it a 1/2 inch. And 5 1/4. Okay, I like that. I think I like that better. Okay, awesome. You see me changing things as I go. So I wasn't super happy with this one. I liked it. It used up all those pieces so they weren't wasted. I'm going to trim this down just a hair here. So it has a little bit of border on both sides. Okay, then this will get put right here. Do I want to pop it up? Or do I want to lay it flat? Let's lay it flat. See if I can get these. See me playing on the fly here. Changing on the fly, I should say. There we go. Okay, there's one last step. We brought in those little black dots again. We put a little black dot in the center of each one of these flowers. I took out that end so I can use it to help stick them down. Come on, stick. Just trying to find the ones that are right side up. One more. There we go. And there's our last card. I like this better with this way. Well, thank you so much for joining me today at Jamie's Craft Table. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And I hope you can find a little bit of time to play with some stamps, ink, and paper. This just shows just from making one card, we ended up creating 3. Have a great day, everybody.